Hello, hello, and welcome to Mr. Brown's at-home stand-up comedy routine. Yes, that's right, this is my very first time doing this, and I can't hear my audience, so this will be interesting. Usually comedians can work off their audiences and gauge how they're doing by the laughter and applause, if any. But I will have to settle for using my imagination. Sorry, what's that? No, I will not get up, thank you very much. I'm quite comfortable. I see. I haven't even started, and already I'm getting it wrong. Well, this should be good. But you're right. I mean, if anyone is going to attempt stand-up comedy, they should at least stand up. So I guess that disqualifies paraplegics. Or anyone in a wheelchair, for that matter. Can you imagine? Hi, I'd like to become a stand-up comedian. Well, that's pretty funny right there. I'll give you that much. But you might want to reconsider your options. Now, please don't get me wrong. My intention is not to be rude. I actually love wheelchairs. Hey, can I try? Woohoo! Check me out. But you can't have someone with no legs doing stand-up comedy. You gotta be faithful to the craft. I mean, a paraplegic doing stand-up comedy is about as appropriate as, say, me becoming a hairstylist. It's just not right. So, I guess I better stand up. Well, you might have guessed by now by my accent that I'm Canadian, eh? No, I'm not American. You ever notice when you get it wrong and accidentally call a Canadian person American, they seem to bite your head off or spit at you? Well, now you know how those snobbish-looking, furry, long-legged creatures feel. Hey, are you a llama? I'm an alpaca. Or, hey, are you an alligator? I'm a crocodile. So, hey, are you American? I'm Canadian. So, why do we Canadians find it so annoying? Possibly because hardly anyone ever mistakes an American for being Canadian. Mistake, please. It's not a mistake. It's an assumption. You assume we're American. Just like I assume by the accent someone's Australian, not from New Zealand. Sorry. So let me tell you, I mean, I'll bet you if you were to go up to an American and say, hey, are you Canadian? They'd possibly be insulted. Okay, because most countries don't know much about Canada. They're aware of a big landmass somewhere way up to the northwest, but otherwise it's irrelevant. You have to live abroad to get an idea of how different countries feel about Canada. I've lived here in the UK for nearly 9 years, and rarely do you hear in the news anything about Canada, okay? But the American election? How come that's so important? That's all over the local news. People here actually care about who becomes president. They get emotionally involved. No one over here cares about Canadian politics. What's up with that? Actually, it's been so long since I've lived there that I'm so out of touch, I don't even know who the Canadian president is. Most of you are thinking, yeah, who is the president of Canada? Well, there is no president. It's similar to here in Britain. We have a prime suspect. Yeah, that's not very funny, is it? Is it because I'm sitting down? Right. I'd better steer away from politics because I really don't know anything about politics. I'd better stick to topics I'm more familiar with, like music. I've played guitar for a while, and I like to teach it too. And one thing that really annoys me is when people find out you're a musician and they expect you to play them a song right there on the spot. Oh, you play guitar? Well, play us a tune. Have you ever thought about how rude that might be? What is it with music that people just expect you to perform like a dancing monkey? Oh, you're a singer. Sing us a song. How would you feel if I was invited to your place and I found out that you really enjoyed working in the kitchen and then I said, oh, you're a chef. Well, cook me a meal. I mean, how rude is that? Oh, you're a gardener. Plant me some peas. Oh, you're a painter. My kitchen needs redoing. Oh, you're a carpenter. Fix my garage. Oh, you're an electrician. Wire me a socket. Jump, monkey, jump. Oh, you're a farmer. Plow me a field. It's ridiculous. Another thing that annoys me, well, actually I find it rather insulting, is that phrase associated with musicians. Those who can't teach. As in, if you teach music, it's most likely because you can't play, so you'd never make it as a rock star. Really, I don't hear anybody applying that term to other teaching professions, do you? Oh, you're a driving instructor. What's the matter? Didn't qualify for the Formula One? That's race car driving for those who don't know. Oh, you're a science teacher. You teach physics? So what, becoming an astronaut just didn't appeal to you? Oh, you're an English teacher. Is that because, like, you're an immigrant and you couldn't even get a job as a telemarketer? I see. Most telemarketers can't speak English anyway, but you were so bad at it that you had to resort to doing the only thing you could do and become an English teacher. Those who can't teach. Oh, you only teach music. Well, someone has to teach it. Actually, the other day, this guy was over at my house, and I tried to show him something on guitar, and I totally choked up. It was so bad. When only just earlier, I was ripping it up all over the neck, making a whole bunch of noise. But as soon as someone else is watching me, I seize up. Absolutely terrible. So I guess that's not entirely advantageous for rock stars, is it? No, I guess not. Well, some of you might know that I'm not much of a coffee drinker, and it's not so much the taste that puts me off, it's more for health reasons. I don't like the caffeine, it's a real stimulant. Sometimes when I have a cup of coffee, I can literally feel my heart rate increase and thudding in my chest. Boom, 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 boom. It's very uncomfortable. It makes me feel like my body's out of control, and it is. In fact, I'm speaking so fast I must be drinking coffee now. I'm not. Okay, I don't like the feeling that my body's out of control. Another adverse effect is that I tend to get a sore eye when I drink it. I don't know, maybe I should take out the spoon first. I always mess up this joke. Sorry. Yeah, some of you might know that I'm not much of a coffee drinker. No, it's not so much the taste that puts me off, it's more for health reasons. Like, I tend to get a really throbbing sore eye when I drink coffee. Maybe I should take out the spoon first, yeah. Sorry, without these on, I'm as blind as a bus driver who's had his eyes gouged out. And you know, another very expensive adverse effect I get from drinking coffee is that I tend to break my glasses a lot. Maybe I should take out the spoon first. Yeah. Well, I must say, you're an absolutely lovely looking audience. Oh, hi there. How's it going? You enjoying my show? Ooh. Oh, sorry, sir. I thought I was talking to that garage door. So, yeah, maybe later on I can come around and show you some of my junk. You know, that joke is actually kind of rude. And by definition, jokes are supposed to be funny. But since when is being rude funny? It's not funny. It's just inappropriate. Isn't that right, Baldy? Yeah. Which reminds me of one of my favorite stories in the Bible. It's about a man named Elisha. I don't think he'd had much hair on his melon either, because a bunch of these adorable little kids came along, started mocking him and calling him Baldy, Baldy, haha, Baldy. So then out of sheer maturity, grace, and forgiveness, he prays, and this massive slobbering bear comes out of the woods and shreds their carcasses all over the forest floor that have these lovely, beautiful bluebells everywhere, and eats the children alive while they're screaming in agony and offering their sincere apologies. Love that story. And there's also that cute story about Jesus riding into town on a tortoise. Strange, eh? Well, I'm pretty sure it was a tortoise. I remember hearing about it at church when the minister said, "And now let us pray that prayer that Jesus taught us." Yeah, that's actually not one of my jokes. I mean, I changed it around a bit, but really I just ripped it off from a professional comedian named Milton Jones. He's very funny. So if you want to see real comedy, just stay right where you are, and you've come to the right place. I'll just use his material. That joke about the spoon, that's not mine either. I'd heard that years ago when I was a little kid. I wonder if I could become famous by totally stealing other people's material. Wouldn't that be funny if I became even more richer and famouser than them by using their jokes? Cool. Okay, here you go. These are some great jokes that my own nephew made up all by himself. Now, I don't have his permission to use them, so please don't tell him. He's bigger than me now. Okay, here's one. I start my new job at Legoland tomorrow, and I'm just bricking it. I was trying to teach this fisherman the alphabet. He got lost at sea. My girlfriend left me when she found me wearing her clothes. "Please don't go," I shouted. "I can change." I had a fight with an item of clothing. It was a tie. My wife complains I never buy her chocolates. To be fair, I never knew she sold chocolates. Whoever invented the knock-knock joke deserves a Nobel Prize. Activists concerned about the future of grape vineyards are always raising awareness. I'd say my favorite time is 6:30, hands down. Just watched an award-winning movie about a fruit treated as royalty, The King's Peach. Invisible floorboards. I'm not sure where I stand on that. Listen to the pen. It has a point. So does your nose. Just bought some Velcro jeans. My mates think it's stupid, but I think I can pull it off. Just started a new sweet company. I'm going to make a mint. I'm now the minister of a graffiti church. Let us spray. Barbers, I take my hat off to them. You know, thanks to gravity, I'm a pretty down-to-earth kind of guy. But it bugs me when people make insect jokes. I once thought to myself, why does the sun appear in the morning? And then it dawned on me. If you ever need an ark to carry 2 of every kind of animal, don't worry, I know a guy. This is great. Making bad chemistry jokes because all the good ones are gone. I have a friend who plays Scrabble in the middle of the road. What's the word on the street? I asked him. The school bully keeps making me rub my head against sandpaper. I'm no match for him. Give it up for my nephew. Let's hear it. Woohoo! His own homegrown jokes. Fantastic. Way to go, nephew. Right, now there is one story that I'd love to know how it ends, okay? It's another story in the Bible. It's about Mary and Martha. And it goes something like this. One day, Jesus was hanging out at Mary and Martha's place, and Martha was busy in the kitchen trying to get lunch all sorted, while lovely young Mary was conveniently sitting at Jesus' feet, attentive to his stories. Martha, overwhelmed with the responsibilities of having to prepare a meal for so many people, at least 3 of them, and irked that Mary was slacking off, complained to Jesus. Look here, this young lass needs to help me out a bit if you guys want to eat. Jesus said, Martha, 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 you are concerned about many unnecessary details, but Mary has chosen what is more important, and that will not be taken away from her. Now this is where it's unclear in the Bible. It doesn't explain what happens next. I'm pretty sure it went something like this. Fine, Martha thought. Screw the kitchen. And she joined Mary to listen to more of Jesus' neat little stories. Meanwhile, back in the kitchen, pots and pans are boiling over, smoke is starting to billow out of the oven, and the food was becoming irreparable. Yeah, parable, irreparable, get it? Yeah. So when story time was finally over, they all got up and took a seat at the kitchen table while Martha served up. Needless to say, the food was looking pretty nasty, much to Jesus and Mary's disgust. And Martha said, There, how do you like them falafels? Sorry, what's that? Falafels are Greek? Well, yeah, well, it's a shame they were Jewish and not Greek, because it just doesn't have the same, ring to it if you go, there, how do you like them unleavened bread? Yeah, falafels. Okay. So I'd like to finish off my my comedy sketch here on a bit of a moral emphasis. Okay, one final story that Jesus taught us about persevering. In fact, he was probably sharing this with Mary and Martha. It's called Just You Keep Knocking. Jesus says, Suppose you went to a friend's house at midnight wanting to borrow 3 loaves of bread. You say to him, A friend of mine has just arrived for a visit and I have nothing for him to eat. And suppose he calls out from his bedroom, Don't bother me. The door is locked for the night and my family and I are all in bed and I can't help you. Jesus says, But I tell you this, though he won't do it for friendship's sake, if you keep knocking long enough, he will get up and give you a punch in the head for being so ridiculously inconsiderate. I mean, what kind of a so-called friend jolly well shows up at your door at such an absurd hour in the first place? Come on. Yeah, just you keep knocking. I'll knock your block off. Sorry, that was kind of rude, wasn't it? Well, that's enough out of me. Thanks for watching Mr. Brown's at-home stand-up comedy routine. Woohoo! Yes, you've been a lovely-looking audience. Well, some of you anyway. Cheers, everybody. See ya. Bye-bye.